in Forest Park.
Go and go. I gotta get out. So I'm ready.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Muny produces Buddy Holly, the Buddy Holly story, and our guest, the man who plays Buddy Holly, is Andy Christopher. Welcome to the Big 550 KTRS here in St. Louis.
Thank you for having me.
It's your first time at the Muny.
First time to the Muny and first time to St. Louis.
Let's tell your story. You were going to be a doctor.
I was going to be a doctor.
And what happened?
Well, a friend of mine dragged me to an audition for the Buddy Holly story in Lubbock, Texas, where he's from.
Yes.
I auditioned for the West End producers who were putting it on in Lubbock, and they said, "Do you know how to play guitar?" I said, "No." So they said, "Cool. Well, find a guitar, try and learn every day. Come back in a couple of days, and let's see what you can do." So I sat down in front of YouTube for 2 solid days trying to figure it out, and came back, and they said, "All right, well, we open in a couple months. You think you can learn the 21 songs in the show and share the Buddy Holly role with a couple of West Enders?" And I said, "Sure." So
what was the song you came back and 2 days later?
every day, yeah.
Yeah. What was it about? If you had no musical experience, were you a Buddy Holly fan before that?
I grew up listening to Buddy Holly.
Okay.
My dad would always play it in the car on road trips, much to my mother's chagrin.
Right.
She wasn't like a rock and roll doo-wop fan,
Right.
but luckily she let him play it. So I grew up listening to it and just had a big passion for Buddy Holly going into it. So that helped with like the vocal hiccups, because his vocal style is very, very unique. And I grew up doing watching the Muppets and everything. And I don't think growing up my brother and I ever spoke in our normal voices. And like to this day, grown men, we still like speak like the Swedish Chef to each other on the phone and stuff. So it's just like
So you guys are just goofing with each other.
We're just goofing, but it really helps. It helps get the vocal characteristics down of Buddy.
Buddy Holly is one of those people where I think every generation discovers Buddy Holly in their own way, whether it was the movie whether it was originally, whether it was the movie, whether now the musical, right? I mean, he speaks to generation after generation.
Well, his music is truly timeless. I mean, like it's just. Even now, I've been listening to this music now. That was 2010 when I first picked up the guitar. I still listen to it, and I still hear new things every time I listen to the Buddy Holly music. It's you hear little nuances that you haven't picked up in 5 years of listening, and it's amazing to me.
Yeah.
And did you take any acting classes at all?
I think I took one acting class towards the end of my college career because I was kind of burnt out on biochem. And yeah, it was. But aside from that, no. I did a production of Little Shop of Horrors my sophomore year for the scholarship.
I love that play.
It was a fun play. I got to be
musical.
the dentist.
Yeah.
And it was a blast.
Yeah.
You toured with Buddy Holly's relatives?
So when they hired me to do the show in Lubbock, they said, we're going back across the pond. See you in 2 months. And by the way, if you can't play it, no hard feelings. You're sacked, but no hard feelings.
Right.
Then they left me with Eddie Weir, who's Buddy Holly's nephew.
Okay.
And pretty much I learned how to play by gigging around Lubbock with him. And, he'd say, "Oh boy yet?" in the middle of a concert, and be like, "Yeah, I'm working on it." He's like, "Well, figure it out, because that's what we're playing next." So
yeah. it was trial by fire.
Trial by fire.
Yeah.
Definitely.
How old was he when he died?
Buddy was 22.
22 years old and died in a car crash.
Died in a plane crash.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
plane crash. In which the song "The Day the Music Died" is all
Correct.
about.
Yeah, Don McLean. Yeah.
So we were robbed of a lifetime of music of Buddy Holly.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
the amount of music that he recorded in 18 months, that was his career. 18 months. And that's, you look at the impact that he had, the people who he influenced, the Rolling Stones, Paul McCartney, John Lennon,
right.
Elton John, who had perfect vision until he saw Buddy Holly performing, and he said, "Man, that guy looks really cool with glasses on." And he went and got a pair of glasses at a vintage shop, but they were prescription, and he ruined his vision trying to emulate Buddy Holly. Yeah, it's crazy. All of these things.
And those Buddy Holly glasses were just what he was wearing? That wasn't for any stage presence?
That was, Buddy Holly grew up performing, and he performed a lot of country music growing up. His family was very musical. And he actually started out on the violin. He was so horrible, his brothers would grease his strings growing up playing
Right.
family concerts because he was so bad. And then he picked up guitar because his older brother Travis played, and he wanted to be like his older brother.
Right.
But yeah, he performed. He would take off his glasses, and he really was blind as a bat.
Yeah.
And there were just a couple of performances where he dropped his pick and he couldn't find it, and it was just really embarrassing. So he wore his glasses on stage, and everybody, called him
Right.
Four Eyes and whatnot. And
It's a classic example of you wear those glasses now, you're picked on, but it's so nerdy, it's cool.
He made the
Almost.
nerd
Trademark.
cool.
Right,
He
yeah.
made the lanky, chinless nerd cool.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
we are forever grateful.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Andy Christopher, first time in St. Louis performing at the Muny. Through the 19th, the Buddy Holly story. It's fantastic. The raves are off the charts. The reviews are off the charts.
Muny
We're out
in
of time.
Forest Park.
Tickets 314-361-1900. Muny.org. Go see Buddy Holly at the Muny. You're going to miss a golden opportunity. Andy Christopher, good luck and thanks for checking in.
Thanks, y'all.
You got it. It is 9 o'clock. Big 550 KTRS Talk Radio St. Louis.